screen. Bring it down a little bit. And we'll share our screen. And fantastic. Testing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Good morning. We'll put the text chat over there. We'll put our participant list over here. You can see we got Mark, Steve, Dalton, Wes, Hamid. Got a number of people in anonymous mode as well. That is great. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Well, we got 3 minutes, less than 3 minutes now, everybody, until we get started. So one last opportunity, turn your phone on to do not disturb, grab a set of headphones, cup of coffee, a glass of water, maybe too little time for a full cup of coffee, but you could certainly try to do so, and we will get started momentarily. Yes, we will. That is fantastic. Great. What am I looking at over here? Oh, we just got it. There we go. There we are. Well, it looks like another gorgeous weekend. Holy smokes. The weather's going to be fantastic today, tomorrow, Saturday. These are bonus days this time of the year in November. Pretty incredible. Really amazing. I'm getting lots of cycling in now. It's absolutely fantastic because any moment it'll be time to hang up the cross-country bike and bring out the Fat Tire winter bike. That my kids call it the old man's bike, the old guy. I don't think I'm that guy, but according to them, I am. I can still beat them. Went out for a ride with my 24-year-old this past week, and she said at the very first climb, and we're really going at a good pace. I thought it was a great pace. It wasn't zone 5 in heart rate level. But all of a sudden she goes, what's the race? What's the big rush? Like, Dad, what's going on? I was like, well, actually, dear, I'm trying to race the daylight, and I think we're going to run out of it. And we did. On the way home, we were in full darkness. I didn't have my lights with me, but it was a gorgeous evening. It was just fantastic. So glad that she did join me. And those evenings are numbered. They're going to be memories for 2022. So very shortly, we'll be into the cold, the snow. I understand out west, I was speaking with a dealer yesterday in Calgary. They were in a full-blown blizzard snowstorm. So fingers crossed. Let's hope that's not coming our way just yet. But it's always good for car sales. You got to keep that in mind. It's a double-edged sword, isn't it? On the one hand, we don't want that weather, and on the other hand, we kind of do want that weather. It's kind of crazy. It'll be interesting to see. The Farmer's Almanac is saying snowy, cold winter. So I don't know how they can predict it, but that's always good for car sales. Right? When commuters start bashing into each other's, it's a horrible thing to think of, and I hope nobody gets hurt. But as a result of it, we sell cars. So whatever motivates them to get in, to call us, to email in, to visit us in the showroom, that's what we're after, aren't we? We are opportunists. And with that is 10 o'clock. Welcome, gang. This is the Dynamic Buyer Odyssey. And the purpose of this step is to help you believe, that every shopper has followed a decision-making process motivating them to become a buyer. Now, ordinary average salespeople following their winged approach don't believe that every shopper is a buyer and wind up frustrating shoppers that would be buyers, forcing them to continue to be shoppers. And of course, what they're really looking for is you, a salesperson that can really make it happen. Now, this has been the case for years, and this is why ordinary average salespeople don't convert. In other words, I mean, close at 8 out of 10 and hover somewhere below 1 out of 10. That's the National Automobile Dealers Association statistic. They close at less than 1 in 10. And if they do close at all, it's likely with a low gross deal, void of repeat referral business because of poor customer satisfaction. So what we're doing here is understanding why customers buy. We know how they buy. We know what they buy. But do we really understand why? Because that will convert shoppers in minutes as opposed to hours. The confidence you'll have to draw shoppers to you as opposed to pushing them away like average ordinary salespeople. Now, just before I start, allow me a moment to familiarize everyone with the platform and set the room. If you're a Zoomer or expert, please bear with me. If you're new to Zoom, it's easy. If you see my lips moving, yes, there is sound. You want to click Join with Computer Audio, assuming that you're reading the subtitles along the bottom of the screen. If you cannot hear me, look for the microphone icon. And that could be in the lower left-hand corner or the upper left-hand corner of your screen. And if it has a red line, like a strike through it, pardon me, if your speakers have a red line, strike through it like your microphone has that. Good morning, all. Then it means your speakers aren't working. And you want to just click on the speaker icon. That may turn them on. And ideally, click Join with Computer Audio. Now, to be less disruptive to those around you, you want to think about connecting with earbuds or headphones. This definitely suggests that you are not available while staring at your computer screen. If the app did not go to full screen, you can do so by clicking the upper right-hand corner to enlarge. And you may want to put up a sign on your desk that you're in a meeting and post it on your desk or your office door. But as always, we need to be ready for those friendly buyer interruptions. Position your pointer at the bottom of the screen and the toolbar should pop up. You can click on the chat button where a window will appear and you can send me a message. If you have a question, you can post that ideally to everybody, but you can also post it directly to me. And in any class setting, simple rules apply here of being respectful, courteous, and polite. If you see a question and you know the answer, feel free to contribute in the chat window. I've got a message from Jen. She's having trouble logging in. Hang on 1 second, gang. I'll shoot her a quick message. Try following the Instagram story today. Link is there or on the mastermind group. Sorry about this, gang. Just a student having trouble getting on there. Okay, great. Got it. I think the links of one of the email didn't appear to be working. That's why if you received an email from me this morning, I'm hoping that we got the links right again. We discovered that earlier this morning. And so you can always rest assured that this session will be posted in the private members group. I do include it in my story every morning on Instagram, particularly Thursday morning, so that you can grab the link there. The email that goes out Monday and Wednesday, those links should work as well. And of course, you can go back to any previous email and access the link there. If I ask you to give me a thumbs up or a smiley face, these reactions can be found on the toolbar. Position your pointer at the bottom of the screen. The toolbar will pop up. You can click on reactions, select the icon of your response. You can test this now. You can give me a thumbs up or a smiley face that you are following along, because if you want to just sit there passively and watch and listen, that's fine. It's better than nothing, but it's close to nothing. So get engaged, follow along. When I ask you for a reaction, do that. And of course, it makes it a whole lot more entertaining for me because I know that you're at. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate that. Who else have I got there? Scroll down the list of everybody. All right. Carrying right along then. So this is the first arena of 3 in our quest for learning how buyers buy, the Dynamic Buyer Odyssey. And what we're going to be learning here is the core skill, as the adage goes, that we don't get a second chance to make a first impression. This skill sets us up for those great deals. And I'm going to teach you what to do and how to know. And better than that, I'm going to share with you what is really aggravating and frustrating shoppers that average ordinary salespeople are doing, and to avoid those steps. Because even though they tell us they can get a better deal down the road, we know that is not the case right now, or that they want to think about it because of the salesperson's wing it style forces the customer to think, are you the salesperson that I should be dealing with and that I want to move forward with on this? This is part 2 of this particular step, and I think it's most helpful based on the coaching calls and feedback that I'm receiving right now. We're going to go through the next 3 modules. We may be able to get into module 5, most likely just do 3 and 4. And this is all about the impression, addressing needs and wants of what the shopper is looking for. Again, we're talking about why they buy. We know the how by coming in to see you and how they pay for it. We know what, the products that you're selling. It's the why. Selling high ticket items like automobiles, addressing what customers are actually looking for, is the why. So someone that what they're really looking for, pardon me, I'm just looking at someone's comment, what someone's really looking for with respect to buying, and the only reason they will buy, the why, is that they trust you. They believe that you are the automotive authority to then trust with you to impart their hard-earned money, be it right now or with 96 future payments of doing so. You help them select the vehicle that they want, and that is respectful of color, features, payments, interest rates. That's how you see them, helping them. You see them getting what they want, and in turn, you get what you want. The reality is that you have to fit their list of everything they want in an automobile into what you have available, either on ground or ordering. And I know for many of you, it's really tough right now because orders are so slim. I was just talking to a dealer yesterday that has 4 cars on the lot, but it's changing, like the pandemic and buyer behavior. It may be a little difficult right now, but it's going to change quickly. So we're going to explore how to help people get what they want so you see yourself getting what you want. It starts with your greeting, because the adage goes, you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. We know 100% of customers come to the dealership to buy. You don't sell anything other than automobiles. Your signage, display, showroom, and general understanding of an automobile dealership represents just the brand that you sell, including pre-owned automobiles. So there is no other reason for any individual to be in your showroom, calling you on the phone, or texting in looking for information. They'll all have the excuse to derail your best sales tactics, like, my spouse is at the mall and I'm killing time, or I was passing by and I just thought I'd pop in and see you, or the new product. Make no mistake, they know that you are capable and willing and anxious to sell them colors that they don't want, features that they don't want, payments that they can't afford, because they're all telling us that, right? They know you can do that. It's kind of like the frog and the scorpion story. Are you familiar with this story? This little fable is something interesting, and I'm going to paraphrase it just in the interest of time and me remembering the story. A frog and a scorpion met on a riverbank, as the story goes, and the scorpion asked the frog to carry him across. The frog denied, and the scorpion said, "Well, why?" And the frog said, "Well, because you're a scorpion. The scorpions sting frogs, and I'll drown." When the scorpion said, "Come on, frog, that's you thinking with your little frog brain. And if I do that to you, I would die too, because I can't swim. That's why I'm asking you to ferry me across." The frog thought about it and agreed. About halfway across the river, the scorpion stings the frog. And as the frog is about to drown, he says, "Why did you do this? You'll drown too." And the scorpion said, "That's true, but it's what scorpions do. They sting frogs. Now, I relate this story for you to illustrate that even though consumers know that you can talk them into colors that they don't like, features that they don't want, and payments that they can't afford, they still come in. They still call you on the phone. They still email in. So you've got to say to yourself, there's no other reason why they're doing that other than the fact that anyone who does shopping is a buyer. They want what you have. And you need to make the best first impression that you probably can so that they'll want to come in and take delivery from you. Let me illustrate it another way for you as well. Here's a sensitive subject, a political nightmare right now for the liberals and so many others. If you believe guns are dangerous and that no one needs to have a gun unless you're in the military or police force, then would you go to Cabela's, Bass Pro Shop, or Sale to handle a gun? You know what I'm talking about? I know you wouldn't. The thought wouldn't even cross your mind, let alone go into those stores to look at that. And even if you were in the store to buy other things, because Bass Pro Shop doesn't just sell guns, nor Cabela's, nor does Sale. They sell so many other things, but you still wouldn't even go over there if you thought they were dangerous and that nobody needs them. Here's another version. Everybody likes to compare our industry to Apple and other products like that. And you can't compare our products to them because we are the second greatest financial decision that people make next to buying a house. A smartphone costs $1,000. With all due respect, that's a pretty easy decision to make. So if you owned the latest and greatest version of a smartphone, would you go into a retailer with the very product to look at the very product that you already have? You wouldn't. You wouldn't even consider it, even though the product was in that store like Best Buy or Walmart. The only reason that you might is that if something changed, like you decided to take up sport shooting or hunting in Cabela's, Bass Pro Shop, or Sale, or if your phone was a different color, that is a reason why you may change. And that's what I'm talking about, how we understand why people buy. They just don't contact you because they have nothing else to do. They just don't walk in the showroom, even though they say, my spouse is at the mall, or I was driving around, or I'm visiting relatives and I don't know what to do. So I came in to talk to you who could talk me into buying something that I can't afford and I don't really want the color of anyhow. That just doesn't happen. You do have to help them buy, unquestionably. So what I'm talking about is your business skill and knowing why and how customers buy. You know how, but maybe not why. Why is the pain that you solve? The pain, and I'm exaggerating that, right? It could be a little bit of a problem. Maybe their lease is up. That's the only problem. But the pain is that they'll be out of a vehicle and that they can't drive. Link is not working. If that's Hamid looking for the link, you can find it on my Instagram page in the story this morning, Hamid, or go to the private members group on Facebook. It is posted there right now, the link. My apologies. Go back to an old email if you have that, or if anybody has an old email, if you could forward it to Hamid if the link is not working. But the old one does not work. All right. But you're in here now. Yeah. Great. Okay. Thank you. I will check that old link. My apologies. Thank you very much. Okay. Thanks, Jen. Yeah. The link back at the summertime has been changed. So there is a new link. All right, then. What I'm talking about is the pain that you solve. The pain or problem can be classified into 5 categories. Therefore, I call these categories hot buttons because these hot buttons are driving their decision to see you. The hot buttons are safety, performance, appearance, comfort, and economy. Those are the 5 hot buttons. These are your business skills. Identifying these hot buttons are key buying indicators, as I like to call them. We know anyone will trade their vehicle for a safer, faster, shinier, technologically connected, or fuel-efficient vehicle with a full warranty if they knew how much better it is than their current one. Am I right on that? Do we all agree? Give me a thumbs up. Everybody agrees with that. Anyone will trade their current vehicle for a faster, safer, shiny, technologically advanced, connected, or fuel-efficient vehicle with a full factory warranty, but they just don't know that they could. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate that. Steve and Dalton. That's excellent. Who have not seen it? Jen, thank you. Make sure you give me, thanks, Mike. Excellent. Now, oh, sorry, just looking at everybody's response. Excellent. So it's all about your product knowledge. No, not really. Kind of, but that's not all of it. If you don't know your product inside and out, then yes, you will be struggling, and that is your starting point. Quite simply, if you know your product and eventually your competitors to be competent at presenting and confident at selling, you just simply must need to know as much about your product as you can. And we emphasize the confidence that your product is superior and that you are the salesperson that everyone wants to get it from. Otherwise, you're doing a great job of educating shoppers on their Odyssey so that they'll go and buy somewhere else. Thanks, Hamid. That's why I share with you average ordinary salespeople are excellent sales assistants. And that's why we have this Dynamic Buyer Odyssey. Why do they buy? So let's get back to the opening statement of this module, First Impressions, because I believe these greetings are the source of why shoppers don't buy from you. Can I help you? How are you? Have you been here before? What are you looking for? Are you buying? Would you like a coffee? And can I move your car? Or can you move your car? That one's my absolute favorite. Can you move your car? Could you imagine driving into a dealership, walking into the showroom and somebody approaching you with you? Can you move your car? Hey, don't kid yourself, gang. I've seen it happen routinely, more in the metro markets than anything, because parking is at such a premium. And of course, the cars are, the stock cars are hidden in behind parked cars. But those are the first impressions that a customer gets. Nothing is worse than these greetings. Can I help you? How are you? This is the second greatest financial decision that consumers make of their life, right? It requires a better greeting than that. Instead, greeting everyone with something along the lines of, did you come in to see and drive, and mention your latest and greatest model? Did you see our advertisement, such as the model interest rate giveaway and the sales event? Or you could use this one. I see that you're driving, model and trim level, fill in the blanks. Would you sell it to us? Because I have a buyer for that. Or try this one. Are you coming in on our special sale, private sale event, or celebration? Try this one. Is there a particular model or feature that you're interested in learning more about? These greetings are quick and to the point. They're straight ahead, getting right down to business, and that produces the results that you want. Sales, right? If the customer did not see our special advertisement and you said, did you see it? They may fib to you and say, yeah, I did. But they really didn't. You could ask them, is there a particular model or feature that you're interested in learning more about? Well, they may not even know, right? If there was a brand new model, what if we brought back the Viper at a Dodge dealership? Oh my gosh. How many people are interested in buying a Viper? Probably not very many, but everybody would like to see it. Or more importantly, the power buying, dominant, aggressive type of buyer say, what on earth is a Viper? No, I'm here to buy a Ram. They just told you exactly what they want. Do you get the point of having a better greeting? That's crucial. Now, these are the business skills of high performers, and it starts with rapport, because rapport is a relationship of mutual understanding or trust and agreement between people. This is where you have common ground. You already have common ground with them being at the dealership, but learning of other interests will help with your relationship. You want to look for what I call sticker clues. Those sticker clues are those friction stickers on the side of the vehicle. You get a Canadian Tire. the hockey puck halfway through the window, a Ducks Unlimited member sticker on the back, the little stick family with how many people are in their family, recreation vehicle brands and logos. Some people like to put on very large stickers about their political dislike of the current government in power. You know what I mean? I don't think you should talk about that one at all. You don't want to talk about sex, politics, or religion ever with your customer, regardless of how much you know about it. But look for those telltale signs that you can establish rapport, be likable so that they will trust you. Stop saying anything that requests trust too. Understand that you need to show empathy if necessary. If their previous vehicle was involved in a fiery wreck, oh my gosh. Don't ask them, how did that happen? What was it like? How hot was the fire? Be sure you ask them, oh my gosh, is everyone okay? And really show sympathy. That statement, do I ask, implies that someone was hurt. And of course, you don't want to discuss it if that was the case. Don't open the road for too much discussion, but show sympathy. Remember this much, gang, you have 100% of their trust as soon as you meet them. When you ask questions, do so for the purpose of helping them get what they want. That will help you see yourself getting what you want. If you have color choices, as in on-ground inventory, ask them if they prefer light colors or dark colors. Narrow down, funnel down their choices. Based on their answers, suggest what you have then. If you don't have any color choices, then don't mention it or suggest the color that they would like to have is available. Listen attentively. Any color is fine. If they say something along the lines, any color is fine, just as long as it's not green, because that's bad luck. And if they say something like white is not a color, so I don't want that either. They didn't say that they wouldn't take white, but they stated it's not a color, and they're right. White is all the colors of the rainbow, right? So you may have to get clarification if they would accept the white one or not. If you do not have a white one, don't ask if they would consider it. I hope that makes sense. You want to rephrase what they said. When they say white is not a color, you could ask them, would you consider white if that's what you had, and the vehicle had everything that you needed and wanted? Let me go back and rephrase that for you. Would you consider white if the vehicle had everything you needed and wanted? This is critical right now where our supply is still rather limited. This always worked pre-pandemic. This works wonderfully right now during the pandemic and post-pandemic. The most important thing on the shopper's list is price. So make sure that you're on the right vehicle as well. And you could mention that we're advertising this particular model for X number of dollars, bi-weekly, monthly, or total gross dollars. Then you want to trial close with, is that in your budget? You really need to find out right now, and we're transitioning quickly to the interview, that we're on the right vehicle or not. There's nothing worse than spending the next 90 minutes or more on a vehicle that is not within their budget, but they really like it. And they're hoping that you can somehow wave your magic wand and exhaust all your gross in order to make it affordable. Let's move to a lesser vehicle right out of the gate and select the right vehicle that they can own so they're not wasting anyone's time on the wrong vehicle. Now, leaders are not controlling, and this is you. Yeah, leaders give direction with predictable results. You want predictable yeses, and that means based on selling either on ground or available to orders. Average, ordinary salespeople ask silly questions and frustrate shoppers with answers like, no, not available, or I just checked and it's not available anymore. Don't do that. Know your inventory on ground and coming at you, and in other words, available to order. Ask questions so they'll get the shopper to act in the direction you want them to go, such as if they hit you with, what's your best price? First of all, I know we're not very flexible, or not nearly as flexible as we were pre-pandemic. But secondly, more importantly, you have to answer that question. And you don't want to say, nah, we're not very negotiable. I would just end the conversation right away, even if you aren't very negotiable. You want to be pleasantly persuasive and agreeably aggressive. And so you could answer that question, what's your best price, with no problem. I'd be happy to get you that information. I'm guessing there is also two other things that you are really interested in as well. And those two other things will save you time and money. Am I right? You need to get a yes right there. Let me slow down, read that to you again. When they say, what's your best price in this particular market, you say, no problem. I'd be happy to get you that information. I'm also guessing that there are two other things you are really interested in knowing as well. And those two things will save you time and money. Am I right? They'll tell you what the two things are. You don't have to guess at them. But the two things that you're going to save them and introduce them to are time and saving money. Who would not say yes to saving money? And then you can finish off with, okay, give me 5 minutes. Okay, give me 5 minutes. And let's go over the two things that will save you time and money. And now we swiftly and smoothly and effortlessly, seamlessly transition to the interview. So you need shoppers' contact information. And if you don't get it, well, how do you follow up so that they'll buy? You want to move from the traditional 1 in 5, or worse, 1 in 10, the actual national average closing ratio pre-pandemic. I don't have the new statistic from NADA, was 8% of showroom buyers. 8%, that's less than 10%, 1 in 10. We want to get to 8 and 10, 4 to 5. Because that just makes your life easier. Yeah, that's what your manufacturer wants. That's what your dealer wants. That's what your manager wants. But the reality is, don't you want it too? That just makes it easier. Start your interview step with contact information, but if they won't give it up, don't fight for it either. You may have to earn their trust to get it. So if they object, it's probably based on a previous experience, and you don't want to help them revisit that negative experience buying an automobile. Many have a bad experience. Everyone knows of one. All you need to know right now is how to spell their last name, what their phone number is that you can SMS, text them on, and what email they check on an hourly basis. Did you get that? How to spell their last name, what phone number you can SMS, and what email they check on an hourly basis. It's as simple as that. That's all that you need to know. Plug that into your vocabulary. Test your talk track on family and friends, and only upon perfection, then try it on shoppers. Stop experimenting with shoppers. Build your confidence and your competence with those who will cut you slack, family and friends. Now, the next thing you want to do is tell the shopper what they can get. Don't ask them what new vehicle they want and all the things in it. This is fundamental. Hasn't changed since the beginning of time, pre or post-pandemic. There are simple ways, many variables to exact what everybody wants. But regardless of ground stock or orders, lead with standard features of the model that they're interested in, such as mentioning the engine size, the transmission, anti-lock brakes, traction control, stability control, brake assist, cross traffic alert, forward collision warning, power windows, power door locks, keyless entry, push button start, dash, side window, seat mounted airbags, and steering wheel mounted airbag. These features should roll off your tongue, as they're likely on several models that you have. Then you'll drill down into specifics on the particular model that they're looking at, and specific options based on your ground stock or availability. And that doesn't even include the colors that you have. But don't suggest any feature, option, or color that is on hold or not available. And that's why it's so important for you to know your inventory, what is on ground and what is coming at you. In other words, hey gang, start your brain before engaging your mouth. Now, price is the most important thing on the shopper's list, and that includes what they're going to get on their trade-in. So we might as well find out right now if they plan to trade in the vehicle that they're driving. Now, I'm not suggesting appraising their vehicle this early in the sales process. I do not believe anybody can build a value bridge, including myself, that fast right now, going from what did you come in to see and drive to what do you want for your car, or I'll tell you what it's worth. But a lot of customers will ask you to do so. So regardless of whether they ask you or not, collect the information. Begin with year, make, model, trim level, mileage, meaning kilometers, what maintenance has been done, meaning brake service, oil change, fluid flush, tire replacement. Does the vehicle have summer or winter tires, depending on the time of the year that is coming in? This is now winter tire changeover. Your service department's probably Zulu with customers. Whether the vehicle has had a tune-up, wiper blade replacement, floor mats that are either OEM or winter or all season or aftermarket floor mats. Is there a spare tire in the vehicle? Do they have both key fobs? Is the owner's manual in the vehicle? Accident history, paint work, extended service and maintenance plans, and most importantly, monthly payment. That's the mark of average ordinary salespeople. They ask all this great information and they forget the most important one. If the most important thing to a customer's list is price, why aren't we asking that on the trade-in? What's your monthly payment? What will that tell us? Well, if we ask with the next question, how many payments do you have left to maturity? It'll give us a rough idea what the payout is. And since years ago, we had so many 0% payments, then you're calculating a payment with accuracy. Moving forward, as we're moving into interest rates, it's going to get a little bit trickier. And of course, we're going to need to call and get the exact number. But for now, you'll be calculating a payment with a lien, even if it has interest, on the conservative side, meaning it's probably going to be lower when we call to find out exactly what it is. Now, if the customer doesn't have a payment, congratulate them. Say, wow, good for you. So few are capable of doing that. Let me ask you this. What was your payment when you purchased it? If they said, oh, we purchased it for cash, I had no payment at all. Wow, good for you. That is dynamite. So at the last transaction, what was the difference figure? Do you know that off the top of your head? These prices are invaluable for you to determine what the next vehicle they're going to, because if the difference figure is massive, if they paid $1,000 difference between their old vehicle and the new vehicle, and the new one you're showing them, you know full well they've got a $20,000 truck or SUV and they're looking at a $70,000, $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 truck, and the difference figure is going to be that big, or the payment is going to double or quadruple, you need to ask them, is it the same monthly payment that you were after? Or for a slightly higher monthly payment, would you like to save putting money down at this point? We need to know. This is the interview. You want to know what their sweet spot is. I may have got a little detailed there, and I don't want to confuse you at all. The point of getting the monthly payment is knowing what their sweet spot is for payments or difference figure, and that'll help you trial close. Now, we only ever want to quote the advertisement finalizing the interview. If they ask you what the best price is, this is the easiest answer you can ever possibly give anybody. It's the advertisement, because it is. Think about it. If your dealer or OE advertises a price, that cannot specifically go to just shoppers. If they put the advertisement on YouTube, if they put the advertisement on network TV, if they put the advertisement in the newspaper, or they put the advertisement out via an email, it goes to everybody. They are not exclusive to just your shoppers, which means the advertisement goes to your competitors too. So the price advertised must be so fantastic. Our competitors, we want them to be shaking in their boots with how low our offer is. So be sure to emphasize, we are advertising the price, monthly, biweekly, interest rate, lease or finance, vehicle discount, any of it or all of it. Now, when you mention interest rate, you also want to add at this point at the interview process, very subtly and very, very, very sympathetically, provide that is our most preferred rate based on availability and provided that you qualify. This is our most effective use right now, gang, of scarcity and urgency. As many OEs will not price protect orders, this is a terrific way for you to help the shopper fall in love with a color, model, trim, or feature that they wouldn't normally consider or don't actually want. The operative word, remember, the operative word is help. There's nothing tricky, slimy, or salesy or sleazy about this. This is the reality. You want to help shoppers buy. You must believe everyone at this point wants to buy. So building rapport is an exchange of information. If you simply ask questions and don't contribute, you may be perceived as being interrogating. You don't want to do that. You just want to have a casual conversation to help them find the vehicle that they desire. And it would also be strange or even narcissistic for you to tell the customer how great you are, impressing them with what you like to do. But strategically placing pictures in your office or on your desk, and just a few, I don't mean a lot. We're not looking for collage of pictures, 1 or 2 pictures, placing them strategically where they can see it of common interest opens the door for rapport. So I've got a little story on this I want to share with you, and I don't think it's what you think it's going to be. I was in a dealer's office a while ago, and a young man in his early 30s was the dealer. And on the wall, he had a picture of an adolescent driving a go-kart. Well, I like go-karts. In fact, I really love go-karts. I wish I raced them. I don't race them, but I really, really do enjoy the track time. So with this common knowledge, seeing that picture in his office, I asked him how old the child is. Now, I didn't know whether it was a boy or a girl, son or daughter. His answer astounded me. I hope you really get that. It blew me away. He said a trainer like you, Bill, had suggested that I put a picture up in my office of a child so that when people come in, they will think I'm a family guy and they'll reason with me. Don't do that ever. I lost all respect for him and never, ever saw him again. Give the customer your business card. This is the law of reciprocity. But before you just give them your business card, write your cell phone number on it. Now, if your cell phone is already written on it, write it on in bigger numbers so they can see it easily. And you can tell them, text me, call me, leave me a voicemail on that. If you want to write your email address on it, if you want to write the hours that you are at the dealership on it, I think that's an excellent idea. It personalizes your card. The biggest advantage of doing this is that when you ask for their personal information, that law of reciprocity kicks in. And even if your client doesn't know about the law of reciprocity, they just feel an obligation to give something back, such as their name. They may not want to give up their telephone number and their email address yet, and we'll come back to that, but they may give it all to you quite easily. If you want to creep them on social media, you can certainly do so and send them a message there. I don't think it works as well and as effectively, and sometimes it puts some people off, but it's better than nothing at all. So you do need to get their name. Remember the Lear principle? Now, if you've been through the manifesto and the first step of the Dynamic Buyer Odyssey, you'll know what I'm talking about. Listen, acknowledge, explore, and respond. Now, 3 of those steps are all about listening, not saying anything. Those capital letters point out for you to remember to explore what you're going to say before you say it. So let's start the brain before engaging the mouth. And when you do respond, ask for information, do so with compassion. Customers do not want to fall into your massive marketing email campaign clogging their inbox, nor do they want their cell phone data exhausted by your SMS messages. Gather the information throughout the sale if they don't want to give it up in the very beginning, especially with difficult customers. But you must get the information with no excuse, because you know every shopper's a buyer and they may not do so right now, but with your follow-up, based on the contact information, they will. Again, you can creep them on social media, cleverly send them a friend request or message them, but the results, I don't believe, are as effective as getting the information right out of the gate. When you do get the information out of the gate and you creep them on social media, the results go up dramatically. So far, we've talked about greeting guests in a way that they'll really want to work with us. So this module is about customers wanting it. Number one, we want to make the proper vehicle selection. That's the easiest way for you to get a customer to really want your product, because if you choose the wrong vehicle, too expensive, wrong color, too many features, not enough features, no matter what you do, the customer will be able to say or justify not buying. You'll never know unless you're constantly checking in with, do you like it? Do you like it? Does this make sense? Are you following me? With those qualifications, you get the opportunity to move on to the next step. So let me introduce you to KBIs. Now, KBIs are different than KPIs. KPIs, key performance indicators, are generally an indication of numbers that determine how well you are doing at something for you to track. And that's something that we do in the blueprint. KBIs are key buying indicators, very similar to key performance indicators. These tell you that your plan is working and the customer will buy. Key buying indicators are hot buttons, features that the customer wants, and why they're contacting you. It's any one of the key buying indicators can fit into 5 factors eliciting emotion to buy. And those are the hot buttons of safety. That's anyone that you see limping or hobbling, or an elderly moving slowly, or looks like they're a little bit sore and hurt, any child with an infirmary or an injury or a disability. That's a perfect safety. Absolutely perfect safety bucket to have to fill. A key buying indicator, a hot button to focus on. Performance. Did you see what they're driving? Anything that suggests performance. Appearance. Black vehicles, in my opinion, fall into that. The only time a black vehicle looks good, and I've got one, and I want anything other than black. The only time a black vehicle looks good is when it's washed. And as the famous song goes, black vehicles look good, better in the shade. Comfort is for the commuters, people driving a long distance. And I'm talking about an hour to work and an hour home. And finally, economy, which fits into commuters as well. But here we're really focusing on the e-car and the difference between SUV and pickup trucks, including diesel inquiries. Now, don't try to fit all of these into your presentation, even if it appears they're all important. You want to focus on certain hot buttons, the significant ones. The next thing that we want to do is explain our process. And don't force your process. Let me explain what I mean by forcing your process. I had a mortgage broker that, well, when my mortgage was up for renewal, I had a friend who was a mortgage broker, and she consulted me and said, "Hey, Bill, will you give me a chance at your mortgage?" I said, "Sure, no problem at all." She clearly had a dynamic selling process. I didn't say a great, I said a dynamic one that she was following to a T. And maybe her clients really appreciated the process. But for my wife and I, it was obtrusive. Her process stimulated spouses must be included in all conversations. Now, I get it. The point of having them there is so that I want to talk it over with my spouse doesn't interfere with our deal and it keeps progressing forward. But my wife did not want to be a part of the conversation. So every meeting that the broker forced me to include my wife eventually ended up with her getting angry and saying, "I don't want to be a part of the next meeting. And if I have to be, let's get a different broker." Isn't it interesting how a process, our process, can work against us? I call that dealer-centric if the process is forced, as opposed to consumer-focused, which just allows it to flow. Keep that in mind. Don't force your process. Allow it to flow. Share with your customer what you plan to do with them. Some of the best high-performing salespeople have a talk track that if I were them, I'd be bored to tears of listening to myself. They share with their customer what they're going to do. Vehicle selection, presentation, demonstration drive, trade appraisal, purchase consultation. They spell it all out. And you know what? It works. If the numbers aren't right, there's no delivery. Does that sound fair? They say that exactly. If the numbers aren't right, I don't expect you to take delivery. Does that sound fair? How does anyone say no to that? Plain, simple English. Tell them what you want to do and then get their approval with my overview, benefit, and permission strategy, the OBP strategy. Tell your customer this could be about 60 to 90 minutes. Now, you tell me, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, how much time you have, and I'll make it easy for you. Did you hear the close? Did you hear that? Tell me how much time you have, and I'll make it easy for you. The close right there is easy. That everything that they do with you is easy. Look at how easy I am to deal with. Look at how easy it is to buy from me. Look at how easy it is to get the vehicle of your desires. It's easy. If it's easy, directions are clear and simple. What you must avoid at all costs is any level of confusion, because in sales, I find the confused mind always says no. Then track your progress. Ask the customer if they have any questions, such as, is this the vehicle that they would like to own? If the price is agreeable, would they like to have it today, tomorrow, or by the weekend? If the price is agreeable, would they like to have it today, tomorrow, or by the weekend? When you ask that question in a subtle manner, the customer becomes more than cooperative because they see themselves getting what they want. Working the desk and reviewing all the product in one place or one building and the vehicle and the manufacturers online, on website, locating your inventory is time saving. You can leverage your own build and price through your manufacturer's website. And of course, this gets you more familiar with it. So if you have to do a virtual presentation, you're super familiar with it. Share with the customer how few vehicles that you have. And make no mistake, gang, they've done their research. They know through a vehicle locator what you've got. Google tells us they surf hours browsing the web, like we're talking visiting 80 web pages, 180 pages of content on average. And I know if one vehicle on my lot receives over 20 pictures of views, it will sell in hours to days. So you can save them time and money by showing them what they've already been looking at. If you're selecting a vehicle, especially if you don't have something on the ground. But first, you need to gauge commitment. It's pointless sharing your inventory with them and your incentives and availability if they're not ready to commit, right? So you need to ask them that pointed, difficult question. Do you have to buy something today? This is just one question. I've got a whole bunch of these. There's 8 tracks here. So if you don't like that one, don't worry about it. But when you ask them, do you have to buy something today? You just discovered the pain point, the motivation, and you realize how you have to work to make this happen. Here's another one to judge commitment. Generally, you'll get a no to that first question. So you can take the pressure off now, put them at ease. You'll see their shoulders just drop and relax when you say, great, because that'll give us time for us to find the right vehicle to fit your budget. Here's another one to gauge commitment. Are you in a rush to buy something right now? Okay, then we can take a few minutes of our time and make sure this vehicle meets your needs and wants. Now, these talk tracks significantly reduce the pressure and help the customer make a decision at the pace, because of the pace that they need to go. If they need a vehicle right now because theirs was smashed in an accident, then go at a faster pace. And that's what they're looking for. If they don't need to make the decision right now, then you can slow the pace down and show them a couple other competing models and even pre-owned to save them money. Here's another one to gauge commitment. What are you driving now? And you would only say that if you didn't see what they drove in. And that will tell you volumes and the reason why you asked what they drove in, and it'll tell you volumes about their color choice, trim level, the desire to change. For instance, if you see that the rockers are all rusted out of their vehicle because the average age of a car in Canada is 16 years old, you can start building your value bridge of what their old car is not doing for them and what the new vehicle will. Now, the dealership that I started at when I started my career selling had a little bit of a hillside that customers had to park on right in front of the showroom. While I was working with a customer looking at their Toyota Corolla that was really old, it started rolling downhill. The compression of the engine, because it was a manual shift transmission, couldn't hold it. And I vividly remember the owner being close by to me, looking at me and saying, huh, looks like we just sold another one. And he walked away. And I smiled and realized at that very moment in time, yeah, every shopper is a buyer. So are you planning on trading in your current vehicle? Is another commitment question that we really need to know. An even better question to ask, is that your car? To which they'll answer yes or no. If they answer no, don't go to this next question. But if they answer yes, you can say, and this is most appropriate in this particular market, gang, will you sell it to me? Ask them, is that your car? If they say yes, would you sell it to me? Because you can't go wrong buying it from them, can you? We need it for our pre-owned lot. But when they get the notion of selling their car, getting rid of it right now, this is the moment, you're well on your way to selling a new vehicle. Here's another one you can gauge commitment with. If you could take it home today, would that help you? Again, let's go back to the operative word, help. Not today and home with you, help. Would that help you? If you could take it home today, would that help you? Now, I know you're all going to tell me, we don't do spot delivery, Bill. That's okay, no problem. The point is, we're gauging commitment. Just ask. And our process, your process, securing financing before they take delivery is a good one. That's what will require a little bit of time in order for us to get it ready. Customers know this. If a customer is not sure and they would like to think about it, but realize that they could drive it home in minutes, why would they say no? Now, if you've been shopping around, this is another way to gauge commitment, and one that a lot of average ordinary salespeople, I would say all average ordinary salespeople, shy away from, but a lot of accomplished salespeople even shy away from. If you've been shopping around, please don't tell me what your price is. That would not be fair for me to know. Oh, wow. This one has worked so well for me over the years. Let me read that to you again. Folks, if you've been shopping around, please do not tell me what your price is. That would not be fair for me to know. How does anyone disagree with that statement? Because it's a statement, it's not a question, obviously. I cannot tell you how many customers, spouses, sons and daughters I have had say to me that they have a better price down the road, but they purchased from me. So do I believe them? They always said afterwards, well, you were so nice and understanding. It was like buying from a friend. I could have got it for a better deal down the road, but I dealt with you. That could be true, but I don't believe it, as you probably don't either, because they didn't have to save face and lie to me that they've got a better price down the road. That's why I tell them it wouldn't be fair for me to know. If you ask for their price, they'll stretch the truth, lower it to see if there's a better opportunity. If they tell you the better price and you cannot match it, why or how do they save face and buy from you? If you don't let them tell you their price and they really like you, what's the point of them going to the other place where they didn't buy it from in the first place? They may as well pay a little bit more and get it from whom they want, where they want it, right? Now, this is a tough one for most salespeople. On your shopping journey, have you seen a feature on another brand that is something that you really like. Again, gauging commitment, right? And we're not alone on this one. Have you ever heard a doctor say to a patient, don't go to the internet and check your symptoms or investigate your prognosis? Why would a doctor say that? Because there's so much information, misinformation, and the worst case scenario is usually discussed, but for many, that worst case scenario is not what they want to hear and may not be their condition. So the reality is customers shopping around at competing OEs do have features that are impressive, and for that matter, maybe on our vehicles too. If you don't ask and they didn't see it, they may assume that it doesn't have it. If you didn't ask, you'll never know. That's a great one to ask. So if they're coming out of your previous brand product, draw on that success too. Stow and go seats, smart cruise control, distance following cruise control, massage seats, heated rear seats, heated steering wheel, sleeping tent, anything along those lines. Draw on those successes. Ask them how these features fit their lifestyle. If they're a commuter, the smart cruise control or radar dispensing cruise control will really make life super easy now that it comes to a complete stop. When I first introduced that product at Mercedes-Benz, it only reduced speed by 20%, and it did not go all the way to a full stop. Now on most of our automobiles that are equipped with it, it comes to a full stop. You don't have to touch the brake or the accelerator pedal. You do have to be ready to take over. And if you're selling that and delivering that feature, make sure you share that with everybody. Stop and go traffic is what wears us out. This feature of radar dispensing cruise control almost makes it tolerable and possibly even pleasant. Certainly, if the customer had something, a lifestyle specific thing, like rooftop tent for all those overlanders, or a pickup truck box camper for all those overlanders, that'll trigger dialogue and establishes common ground. You can ask their opinion and functionality of the purpose to getting to yes. Get them talking about how great the vehicle is and the features that benefit their lifestyle, but keep your focus on saving time. Watch how much you get carried away with the conversation. If you're a talkative kind of salesperson, really harness yourself back with a talkative buyer, because you go off on tangents and get yourself lost and completely exhaust the time that they have to shop for a vehicle, and they'll forget all about buying. So harness yourself in, watch that closely, finalize the sale, and that event will help you with your interview. Seek agreement and confirmation with the features of the hot buttons. This is what helps them see themselves getting what they want, so you can see yourself getting what you want. Now, the purpose of stimulating dialogue is not so much to know about their wants and needs, nor is it about their lifestyle, but more importantly, how the vehicle fits their lifestyle. That's where you build that bridge, how the old vehicle's not doing what they want it to do, and the new vehicle will. It's about the cadence at which your customer speaks as well. You're listening to how fast or how slowly they talk. If they talk really, really fast, like I like to talk really, really fast, you want to bring up your cadence of speech to talk fast with me. Otherwise, I develop subconscious negative prejudice in you, fast speaker for a slow speaker for a fast speaker, because I don't like the way you're communicating with me. The only way you're ever going to find any of this out is asking those open-ended questions, establishing rapport, stimulating dialogue. The conversation flows easily with yes, no answers, but very difficult for you to determine cadence of speech and really win them over. So when you explain your steps to the sale, defining your process, there's no surprise. And more importantly, now you've had a little dialogue, you know their communication style, and you can establish that trance. And a lot of that is covered more extensively, very detailed in the manifesto. So if you don't have the manifesto, book a time, a discovery call with me and see if it would be right for you. What I'd like to suggest, here's the talk track. What I'd like to suggest for you folks, if I were selling a car, what I'd like to suggest is that we look at the vehicle you want. I'll focus on the features that you mentioned. And just before we stop, ask me, if I addressed everything of interest or missed anything. Let me repeat that. What I'd like to suggest is we look at the vehicle that you want. I'll focus on the features that you mentioned. Just be sure to stop or ask me if there's something that I did not mention that is of interest to you, something that does not make sense that you would like to know more about before we move on. You want to start thinking about your transition to the vehicle presentation with technology and how much it's evolved. So you could say something like this to your customer. Technology has evolved substantially since your last purchase. The past 5 years have been really exciting for us in the development of safety, performance, appearance, comfort, and economy. Here are those hot buttons. I'm sure you'll agree. May I show you? Now, neither talk track is used back to back. You wouldn't use the first one. Excellent. What I'd like to suggest is technology has evolved substantially since. These are individual talk tracks. Put them into your vocabulary. You may ever only use one. You could use both in different scenarios, and that's why I present them. I just want you to be familiar with those. And that brings us to the end of this module in the first step with one more module to go. But that's all the time that we have, gang. I'm just over the 1 hour mark. My apologies. Be sure to block time in your calendar next week for Thursdays at 10 a.m. This recording is available in the private members Facebook group. And tomorrow, go to the private members Facebook group and post a question, leave a comment, and submit your assignments, posting them in the private members mastermind group. As always, please list the hashtags. It makes it that much easier for me to find them and evaluate them. All of this material is more found in week number 1 of your LMS. Now, does anyone have a question, a comment? The floor is open for Q&A with Bill. Type your question in the comment or use your microphone. I'm available to answer all questions right now. And again, the floor is open. I'd like to field all of your questions. Does anybody have a question or a comment that they'd like to share with me? The floor is open. You can type your question in. You can use your microphone by unmuting yourself. I can unmute you as well. You can type or email your question in. I'll give you a few moments to do that. I hope that was really quite clear. I really find right now, as we move into the fourth quarter of the year, regardless of any market, including the pandemic, sales dipped as they cyclically do in the seasonality of the calendar. And now is a great time for us to be able to focus on these fundamentals. More importantly, experiment with customers as they're coming in. And I don't mean experiment with new tactics. Experiment new tactics on family and friends. I made that really clear at the very beginning, and I want to maintain that methodology. But now that you've refined to perfection and your experimentation is perfect, now you can experiment with customers, real customers. And I say experiment because sales is a practice, exactly like practicing medicine. You're never going to know it all. As any doctor or lawyer will attest to, they practice those careers. Nobody ever forecast the pandemic, and certainly didn't forecast the virus and the strain and how it moved around. And consequently, that was the reason for our extreme measures that we took. But sales is exactly the same. It's the practice of such as opposed to just the career. And that's why learning and training and then implementing is the procedure. It's just that simple 3-step procedure all the time. We learn it, we train to perfection, that is, and then do it on our most expensive commodity, the real customer. So always experiment with colleagues, experiment with friends, experiment with family, and then move on. Facebook posting, pardon me, this recorded session, Craig, will be available tomorrow in the Facebook group. on the private members group, and I will send everyone an email to that link. If everybody has joined, to my knowledge, your whole team is on the private members group, so there will be a posting notification reminder as well if everyone's checking. So the link will be in the private members group, and of course I can email everybody the link. You're welcome for that unlisted link on YouTube. So those videos are hosted on YouTube, easy to watch on any smartphone, tablet, laptop, or desktop, anywhere there is an internet connection. Great. Well, if there aren't any questions or concerns or comments, you're welcome, Mark. Pleasure. I will wrap this up and look forward to seeing everybody. I can see some people logged in on their phone. Fantastic. That is excellent. I love the mobile capacity of it. If you are attending off shift, I'm even more impressed with that. Thank you so much. That's why I really want to respect your time as much as possible and not go over that hour mark. And as always, all of these recordings are found in the private members Facebook group. Private members Facebook group is my mastermind. So go there and ask a question. You're welcome, Dalton, and post suggestions. But you know what we're really missing, gang? You're welcome, Hamid. We're missing wins. Please go and post your wins. So Carter had a fantastic comment in the learning management system, the on-demand portal, about some of the hints and tips that he picked up on presentations. That's fantastic. And Carter, if you're listening, post that over on the private members group, the mastermind, the Facebook group, because it's so easy to do. And specifically say, what is the thing that you picked up? Because I'm sure there's a few tidbits of information that you grab there to add to your presentation to make it that much better. And of course, if there's a whole bunch of things, pick the most important ones, the ones that will really stand out. Because if you're thinking it and you got something out of it and you won as a result of it, others will too. Sharing is caring. Let's get it out there. Let's share with it. This is just our mastermind. This isn't the Facebook page. This isn't the Auto Dealership Academy Facebook page. I'm talking just about the Auto Dealership Academy private members group, our mastermind. Post your questions, your comments, your wins, and to make it really easy on yourself, make it super easy, do it live. Grab your phone and film it live. It's absolutely fantastic. It's so easy to do. It makes so much sense. And I just want to demonstrate to you how effective it really can be by going to the private members group. Well, I'm just going to do it right here and now. Where's my post? Where's my post? I am caught in a loop of messages. There we go. What's on my mind? Here we are. Allow access to my camera. I didn't realize. Yeah, it's on. Come on. Microphone. My microphone is not on. There we are. I don't know why that was not the case. So it's as simple and as easy as this, everybody. You can go live right now in the group. And you can just be, instead of typing it, you can be filming it right there in the group. I am filming it right now. Turn around. There you are. It's in the group. This is all of us. We're talking about it. And it's just as simple as 1, 2, 3. And we're live. So if you've got a win, if you've learned something that is absolutely fantastic and cool and amazing, go into the private members group and just do it right there instantly. And now you don't have to type, and you've saved time, and it's straightforward, and it's in the palm of your hand. Practice this stuff, because when you go live, or you want to show a feature, or you want to show a car, or something has just arrived, car, truck, SUV, and you want to send this message to your buyers, this is how you do it fast, efficiently. And a video, if a picture tells 1,000 words, a video tells millions, right? This is how easy it is. But you need to practice. And you practice with friends, family, and colleagues before you ever practice on customers. This is the impression they get. And that's all that there is to it. Boom. If you're in the private members group, you're going to be able to see that video too. Thanks so much. Have a fantastic day, an amazing weekend, and we are off to a fantastic month. Make November the best month for you ever. It's a mindset, it's a goal, and I look forward to seeing your progress on the on-demand portal. We'll see you next Thursday at 10 o'clock. Bye-bye for now.